Picture this: 15th century Italy, a land of breathtaking landscapes, bustling cities, and a rich tapestry of history. The Italian Renaissance is in full swing. Artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo are redefining the boundaries of creativity. Art and culture are flourishing. Markets are alive with the sounds of merchants and the vibrant colors of their wares. But beneath this beautiful facade, there's a darker side. Power struggles are everywhere. The political landscape is as intricate and dangerous as the art is beautiful. Cesare Borgia, the cunning Duke of Valentinois, knows this all too well. Born into the powerful Borgia family, his name is synonymous with ambition and intrigue. Borgia, a man known for his ambition and ruthlessness, had a problem. His aspirations were constantly challenged by those who sought to undermine him. A powerful nobleman, let's call him Lord Riccardo, stood in his way. Riccardo was influential, respected, and wary of Borgia's intentions. Riccardo, suspicious of Borgia's motives, posed a threat to his growing influence. He was a formidable opponent, always watching, always waiting. Open conflict would be messy, so Borgia chose a different path: selective honesty. He knew that brute force wasn't always the answer. He began showering Riccardo with lavish gifts. These were not just tokens of goodwill, but carefully chosen items meant to disarm and impress. He confided in him, revealing minor secrets about his rivals. These revelations were calculated, designed to build a sense of trust. He even admitted to a small weakness, a fear of loneliness, cleverly playing on Riccardo's desire for importance. This vulnerability was a masterstroke in manipulation. Slowly, Riccardo's guard began to drop. He started to see Borgia in a different light, as someone he could relate to. He saw Borgia not as a threat, but as a vulnerable, even relatable figure. The seeds of trust were sown. He fell into the trap. Riccardo, now disarmed by Borgia's calculated honesty, let his defenses down. Borgia, seeing his opportunity, struck. He moved with the precision of a master strategist. He moved swiftly and decisively, stripping Riccardo of his power before the nobleman even realized what was happening. It was a coup executed with surgical precision. Riccardo, disarmed by Borgia's calculated honesty, became another stepping stone in the Duke's climb to power. Borgia's rise was marked by such calculated moves, each one a testament to his cunning and ambition. Now, some of you might be thinking, honesty? Isn't that weak? Shouldn't we be talking about manipulation and cunning? And you're right to a certain extent. The 48 Laws of Power isn't about being a goody two-shoes. It's about understanding the game of power, and sometimes honesty is the most powerful move you can make. See, we live in a world where everyone's trying to play each other. We've got our guard up, always suspicious of hidden motives. That's why honesty, especially when it's unexpected, can be so disarming. It's like a breath of fresh air in a room full of stale, calculated moves. Suddenly, you stand out. You seem trustworthy, even vulnerable. And that, my friends, can be incredibly powerful. So how do you actually use this law of selective honesty? It's all about strategy and timing. First, start small. Don't go spilling your deepest, darkest secrets right off the bat. Instead, think of it as planting seeds. Instead, sprinkle in little acts of honesty, like admitting to a small mistake or praising a competitor's work. These small gestures can build a foundation of trust. These gestures, while seemingly insignificant, can gradually chip away at someone's skepticism. Over time, they can lead to a more open and trusting relationship. For example, imagine you're in a tough negotiation. The stakes are high, and both sides are playing hardball. Instead of the usual posturing and bluffing, try this. Acknowledge a point the other side has made. It can be a game changer. You know, you're right about that. I hadn't thought of it that way. This simple acknowledgement can shift the dynamics of the conversation. This simple act, an admission of not knowing everything, can work wonders. It shows vulnerability and a willingness to learn. It shows you're listening, that you're reasonable, and most importantly, that you're not afraid to be honest. This can pave the way for more meaningful and productive discussions. In the end, these small acts of honesty can lead to big impacts, fostering trust and cooperation in ways you might not have imagined. Now, once you've built up some trust, it's time to kick it up a notch. Trust is the foundation, but vulnerability is the key to deepening that connection. This is where the art of revealing a weakness comes in. It's not about exposing your deepest fears or insecurities, but rather about showing a side of you that is human and relatable. I'm not talking about spilling your guts about your deepest insecurities. Instead, think of it as sharing a small, manageable flaw that others can connect with. This is a calculated move. It's about being strategic in what you reveal and how you reveal it. Choose a flaw that is both minor and relatable, something that shows you're human but doesn't undermine your credibility. Think back to Cesare Borgia. He was a master of this technique. He confessed his fear of loneliness to Lord Riccardo. This wasn't a random admission. This wasn't some deep existential crisis. It was a carefully chosen vulnerability. It was a calculated move to appear relatable, even vulnerable. By sharing this, he made himself more human in the eyes of Riccardo. It played on Riccardo's ego, making him feel needed and important. This is the power of vulnerability. Let's say you're trying to win over a potential investor. The same principles apply. Instead of bombarding them with your achievements, try this. Share a story. Confide in them about a past project that didn't go as planned. Be honest about the challenges you faced. Briefly explain what you learned from the experience. Highlight the lessons and how they have shaped your current approach. This shows that you're not afraid to admit mistakes, that you're humble, and that you're constantly learning. It builds a deeper connection and trust. By being open and vulnerable, you invite others to do the same. It creates a space for genuine connection and mutual respect. Remember, vulnerability is not a weakness. It's a strength that can transform relationships and open doors to new opportunities. Embrace it and watch how it changes the dynamics of your interactions. Section 5. The element of surprise. Striking at the right moment. Now, for the most crucial part. Timing. Selective honesty isn't about becoming a pushover. It's about strategically using honesty to lower your opponent's guard, making them more susceptible to your influence. Once you've earned their trust and disarmed their skepticism, that's your moment to strike. Remember, the goal is not to befriend your enemies, it's to achieve your own goals. Borgia didn't befriend Lord Riccardo, he neutralized him, clearing the path for his own ambitions. Section 6. A double-edged sword, wielding honesty with caution. Now, a word of caution. This law, like all the laws of power, is a double-edged sword. If your honesty is perceived as insincere or manipulative, it will backfire spectacularly. People can smell a phony a mile away. Your honesty must be authentic, even if it's strategic. The key is to be genuine in your interactions, even when you're being selective with your truths. People can sense when you're being fake, so make sure your actions align with your words. Section 7. Have you been there? Sharing your experiences. I'm curious, have any of you ever experienced the power of selective honesty firsthand? Maybe you used a small act of honesty to win over a tough client, or perhaps you disarmed a competitor with a well-placed confession. Share your stories in the comments below. Let's learn from each other's experiences. Section 8. Power. Understanding the human equation. This law of selective honesty, it's not about being good or bad. It's about understanding human nature. We're all drawn to those we perceive as trustworthy and genuine. By mastering this law, you gain a powerful tool for navigating the complexities of human relationships, whether it's in the boardroom, the political arena, or even your personal life. Section 9. Conclusion. Final breakdown. How to use this power. Step 1. Offer small acts of honesty to build trust. Step 2. Disarm skepticism by revealing a minor weakness. Step 3. Strike when they least expect it. Power isn't about being good or bad, it's about understanding human nature. Have you ever experienced someone being overly nice, only to later realize they had an agenda? Comment below your story. I'm reading every single one. If you found this insight powerful, hit that like button and subscribe to Siddhi Shri for more deep dives into power, psychology, and success.